guys, Ryan Fowler with InnerMasculine.com. Welcome to another fun-filled, fact-filled episode of Inner Masculine Live. And today we're going to finish something we didn't have time to finish yesterday. There was a second clip I wanted to play yesterday and pick apart. We're going to do that today. So I guess this is Feeling Safe Part 2, Feeling Unsafe Part 2. It's our series on the 5 types of subconscious trauma, but also this clip, the lady who I think is a really nice, good person and has a lot of expertise on cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, CBT, that's a gold standard among the conventional psychotherapy practices. I think she has a lot of knowledge and she talks about a lot of these techniques, and it's an excellent chance to compare the difference between what CBT does and what hypnosis does. Honestly, I think you should use both together. And I teach people self-talk, different mental models, which could be considered, in the cognitive realm. I teach people that in addition to hypnosis. You should do both. But if I had to pick one or the other, hypnosis hands down. And please understand, hypnosis is just a canvas. So we're talking about specific techniques in hypnosis. The majority of hypnotists don't do these techniques effectively or don't even know how to do them. They don't focus on the core traumas. That's 95% of them out there are going to focus on, let's help you quit smoking or address certain behaviors. Whereas I focus on core, bad subconscious trauma, get it out and then put the best ones in. And I'm not a medical practitioner, so I'm not focusing on if someone comes to me and says, I have clinical depression or general anxiety disorder. I don't focus on that. What I focus on is let's get you at a core level believing in your ability and value. If it incidentally solves all that stuff, great. But that's the core focus. And I want to compare these two methodologies because it's very, very enlightening to see the difference between the two. It's really just one is hitting one side of the coin, the other is hitting the other. It kind of, but not really. I have to kind of show it to you. But before we dive into that, you can see in the bottom left of my screen, InnerMasculine.com, free ebook. And everyone knows about the subconscious, but have you ever heard anyone say, this is what the subconscious mind is? This is how it develops. This is how it affects you in life. I've heard, there's facts out there floating on the internet. You can Google it. 95% of our behavior is directed by your subconscious. Okay, how's it do that? How's it do in your life? Why does it keep you stuck? Why do people procrastinate? 95% of people procrastinate. Why? To some degree. Why are people anxious? Why are people unusually angry? Or, some people sad all the time, whatever. What's going on? Well, the number one cause of that is bad subconscious programs, holding people back, holding people down, keeping people stuck. It's actually just maladaptive programs trying to keep you safe, but our brain has evolved for hunter-gatherer times. And honestly, if there's an abusive childhood, even if it's covertly abusive or just words or whatever, or children misinterpret things wrong. Their parents are both at work and they think their parents don't love them, but their parents have to work just to pay the bills. They're just scraping by, So the ebook's going to go in all of that. You're going to be able to apply it to your life and understand how your subconscious mind works and is holding you back. So it's free. Just go to the website, bottom left, enter in your email. Everything's fixed. You get the ebook right away. And onward and upward. So, and then that's understanding how your subconscious mind works is the first step towards fixing it, not just fixing it, but optimizing it. We optimize the subconscious and get great results. You can see on the video section, tons of testimonials. People, 1 session, 2 sessions dramatically change their life. Doesn't mean we fix everything, but dramatic changes, dramatic benefit. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great clip. This lady, her channel is Crappy Childhood Fairy, talking about, helping people who've had crappy childhoods, abusive childhoods, all sorts of subconscious trauma because of that. I think she is a sincere lady. I think she's a nice lady. I'll tell you right now, if my methodology is not very well known. Actually, that's why I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to get it out. I'm not the only one who does this. I think I do it at a very high level. It's pretty clear she doesn't understand this methodology. She's all in the CBT world, which is fine. I think she's doing the best she can with what she knows. And she's going to talk about being unsafe, and then we're going to compare the two here. So let's see here. All right. So let's play this, and then I'll comment throughout, because she says some stuff where I was watching this video and I was like, oh man, I got to comment on this. So here we go.
Hi, it's Anna here. Also,
honestly, you can tell this lady's had childhood trauma, which I think most of you would just probably understand anyways. You know, that's why someone do a channel like this. And hey, I had it too. We both had childhood trauma, pretty big trauma, but we'll keep going.
Known as the crappy childhood fairy. And I wanted to talk today about the feeling of being safe. And obviously, we want to feel physically safe, but this video isn't about that kind of safety. I'm talking about feeling emotionally safe, which can be so important for those of us with childhood PTSD and so hard to find. So when someone's...
Yeah, I had childhood PTSD, or we call it complex PTSD. I don't know if that's the same thing, but came from childhood. It's worse than normal PTSD in many ways.
Says,
and in some ways,
they don't feel safe. And again, I want to just focus on emotional safety. Usually what they mean by that is they want to feel protected from attack in the form of criticism or judgment or ridicule or confrontation, like yelling, right? Or...
that was my childhood right there. And I had this trauma for a long time. It's gone now.
From getting put down or left out or ignored. All of these things can be really hurtful for really anyone. But for us, it can be extra harsh and we get triggered.
Okay, boom, right there. That's the first thing I really wanted to comment on. What is a trigger? Well, let's examine what a subconscious program is. By the way, it's in my ebook, goes in detail. And this is what the CBT, the conventional crowd, does not address. A subconscious program is a belief that forms in childhood tied to a feeling. And when it's tied to a very painful feeling, that is subconscious trauma. The painful feelings stored in our body. There's the book on Amazon. It's a #1 psychology bestseller since 2015. The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Vanderkolk. Very good book. All goes over all of this. When you get triggered, here's what's happening. As children, we form these beliefs in our childhood. Things happen and we just interpret. Okay, this thing happened. What does it mean? That thing happened. You know, my dad yelled at me. What does it mean? Oh, I did something wrong and I need to be careful and not make mistakes or I get yelled at. And that's, you know, that's bad. You know, he's disapproving of me then. So that's an example of a belief or an interpretation in childhood. That becomes a subconscious program. And the subconscious programs that have the most effect by far on our behavior are beliefs tied to feelings. And what happens, getting triggered, what that is we have these beliefs in our subconscious that got lodged in there in our childhood. And for most people, they're there your whole life unchanged, these beliefs. Once they get in there, tied to feelings. Now, as an adult, you go through the world. If there's anything in the outside world that is a match for the belief, it triggers the feeling tied to the belief. That's what getting triggered is. So if you have a painful subconscious belief, such as when I fail, it means I'm a failure. Or if others reject me, that means I'm a reject. I'm a loser. I'm an outcast. Let's say you have that belief. There are painful feelings tied to that. And then if someone rejects you or criticizes you or you fail and, you know, whatever, that painful stuff gets triggered, gets spiked. That's how our subconscious works. Something outside world matches a belief in us, feeling tied to it gets spiked. Boom. So the big difference, I'll tell you right now, but you'll see this throughout the clip, is cognitive behavioral therapy is managing the stuff once it comes up. Or it's mitigating it on a temporary basis. It's ongoing management techniques. Maybe over time, things do get, over a long period of time, things do get somewhat better, but it takes a long time and it doesn't get fully better. I did 100 CBT sessions over 15 years. I had bad manic depression, more depression than manias, but manias too. All sorts of stuff. You know, general anxiety disorder, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, it got rid of the depression. It got rid of my rage 20%, got rid of my anxiety, maybe not at all, maybe 10%. Got rid of my depression 60%. That was over 15 years. The rest of it was just kind of managing it, and it only does so much good. It's a partial solution at best. Hypnosis removes it. It removes a bad subconscious trauma. It's gone and you don't get triggered, but we'll keep going.
And getting triggered into dysregulation can set us back for hours or days.
Dysregulation means you're not in control of your emotions anymore. Just stuff's coming out and you're traumatized.
If we're not careful, it can cost us our equilibrium. We can't concentrate. We could be struggling with anger or just getting thrown for a loop with negative emotions. So, one place where you might hear safety as a really important value is in a session with a therapist or in a support group. And in that setting, there would be a really strong set of rules governing how communication is handled.
In order to manage the trauma that's still there and doesn't get cleared with these techniques. We'll keep going.
Lots of listening and open-ended questions with a non-judgmental attitude, no criticism, just openings for discussion, very gentle. And that's really important. But when you're not in a therapy setting and you're just in real life, at work or in a classroom or hanging out with a group of people, are you able to feel safe? It's easier for some people than others, right?
Depending on your subconscious programs.
But this is one
and trauma.
of the most best things about the daily practice that I teach.
Daily management, because the trauma is not cleared, it keeps coming up.
When I write fears and resentments and then meditate a couple times a day, I'm a lot more neutral to whatever people might throw at me.
Okay, and this is good. So I'm not saying these techniques don't work. I actually think you should do these techniques in conjunction with hypnosis clearing out trauma, because even though you clear trauma out, we have many layers of trauma to go through. What I mean by that is I can do one session for someone and most of the time their lives are permanently better, noticeably better, substantially better. And we tend to get the worst stuff out first. So you see the biggest improvement first. But our psyche is vast and there could be 4 dozen bad subconscious programs. You get the worst ones out first. So you see a big difference, but it doesn't mean you're completely free of bad subconscious programs. You got to work through those and it takes a while. So, and honestly, the outside world does affect us. We're not robots, we're humans. And so, hey, maybe there's a real threat. Maybe someone punches you in the face, you get in a fight or whatever. You're going to want to have these techniques to handle the stresses of life, even for emotionally healthy people. But I think what you guys are seeing is they're talking about managing ongoing trauma that is not cured. It just keeps coming up. And she's talking about, hey, let's do meditation every day so that it kind of gives us a temporary shield throughout the day to an extent, makes me more neutral, more grounded. I think that's great. I think anything that helps, you should do. But you're going to see this as she keeps going, that it doesn't solve the root underlying problem. That's why I tell people I think cognitive behavioral therapy is incomplete. And honestly, it's a fraction of the benefit you can get from actually going in and just getting this stuff out of you. We'll keep going. And but I think this lady has a lot of integrity. I really do like her. I think with the knowledge base she has, she just doesn't know about the stuff I know.
And if I do get a bit hurt about something and my hands start to go numb or my mind starts going chaotic, which is dysregulation kicking in, right?
That's trauma stored in your body, hands, different parts of your body reacting. Read the book, Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Vanderkolk. It's on Amazon. Amazing book.
I can notice it and start taking steps to get re-regulated right away. And that is what safety is. Whatever is going on around me, I am more neutral. And I know that if anything ruffles my feathers, I can quickly get regulated again. So I'm safe. Now, I know it can take some time to master this, and sometimes it's just better to stay out of upsetting situations.
There's some truth to that. Don't put yourself in unnecessarily stressful situations, unless there's a really good reason for it.
But developing this inner safety that keeps me feeling okay, regardless of what other people say and do, because they're going to say and do all kinds of stuff. That is my true safety. And you'll find that this is a way more effective approach to increasing your safety than an approach we might go to by instinct, which is to try to make other people make us feel safe by not saying certain things or demanding that they respond to us in a very particular way.
And by the way, you see all the victim mindset people, they use these passive aggressive techniques. Robert Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, talks about the nice guy syndrome. We'll be nice, but we're actually, nice guys are trying to manipulate. They do what's called covert contracts. I was nice to you, lady, so now please be my girlfriend, which doesn't work, and it can breed contempt between the nice guy and the people he's being nice to with these expectations, manipulations, etc. So yeah, I mean, she's saying a lot of good stuff here, and these techniques to a point do work. And if you do ongoing meditations, yeah, it will keep you more grounded, but you got to keep doing it. And it's a temporary management solution. It's not fixing the root problem. I can do one session routinely, clear 2 to 4 issues on someone, and then they get on those specific issues, they never get triggered again. Or if they get triggered, it's a very weak trigger, like a permanent change. You still want to learn these techniques, but for those things we cleared, you actually probably don't even need to do management for it because it's just not there.
It's impossible to really control another person to that degree. And even if you could, no one wants to feel controlled. When someone does this to you, it's a killer for any sense of camaraderie or feeling like you can just be yourself and be accepted. Everyone wants to feel accepted for being themselves. And it kind of works 2 ways. Everyone deserves a chance to say things that come out wrong. And maybe people laugh, or maybe people make a disapproving face, or they lose a friend. But that's how we all learn. We get to be ourselves, and we get to learn from that experience. Okay, so obviously there are limits. People being
I agree with everything she's saying. There's a lot of nuggets of wisdom in here.
Threatening, or, for example, sabotaging you in front of your colleagues with put downs and gossip. That's not someone just being themselves. That's actual harm. And you can call them on it. But if you simply don't like someone's point of view, or you have strong memories that come up around certain topics, just consider dealing with that on your side of the street and not trying to mandate what other people can and can't talk about.
Or remove the trauma and it doesn't even come up anymore.
When you can keep calm inside and have your wits about you, it can't really hurt you. It's generally your own reaction that hurts you the most. You can let it blow over, and you can let the other person's behavior, if it's so awful, speak for itself. You're going about your business poised while someone else spouts off. Everyone knows what to think about that. So, inner calm, that is your safety.
Very good advice from her. I like this lady's stuff. And like I said, I think she's a good person, sincere. I think she has a lot of good knowledge when it comes to managing things. And, I put down in the description, should you do hypnosis or CBT or both? Well, if you had to choose, hands down hypnosis, because you're actually fixing the bad subconscious program that's causing these triggers, causing you to get dysregulated, as she puts it. But our psyche's never going to be perfect because it's vast. And, I'll tell you a story. We talk a lot on this channel about toxic shame. I'm not good at, and that just messes people up so bad. When people get triggered, I would say more often, unless it's anger, and even then that could be tied to toxic shame. But it's someone rejected you, someone criticized you, and spiked that feeling of I'm not good enough, and that's the cause of the trigger. So I thought I got rid of all my toxic shame. I had been doing self-hypnosis on and off for 9 years. This was, I've been doing it 10 and a half years now. So this is like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years at this point. And I thought all my toxic shame was gone, but I was literally put in a situation where my day job was busier than ever, the busiest year ever, 15 hours a week doing hypnosis for people. And then I had a back injury, bad herniated disc, ended up needing surgery. And so I couldn't sit down for more than half an hour at a time. Couldn't walk for long distances, causing a lot of problems. So no matter how hard I tried, I was just getting farther and farther behind with all the demands put on me. Literally, I was not enough to handle the work thrown at me. Boom, there's some toxic shame. I've been put in a situation I've never been put in before. And all of a sudden, I thought all my toxic shame was gone. Nope. In this new situation I hadn't been in before, this level of stress I hadn't been in before, there was some toxic shame hiding that got triggered. So if I didn't have management techniques, you know, it's good to have management techniques because you can have trauma hiding in you not even aware of. When we do hypnosis, once you're aware of that trauma, you can go in and fix it. And then maybe a year or two later or whatever, some new trauma emerges, you're in a new situation. Well, you can go in and fix it, but you still want these management skills that she's talking about because they do help. They do temporarily, at least partially mitigate trauma when it gets triggered. When someone does criticize you, reject you, or make you angry, and you're it's not just normal anger. Like, hey, if someone punches your friend in the face, get angry, beat the shit out of that guy, you know, or at least defend your friend. But you know, there are times we should be anxious. There's times we should feel unsafe if we actually are unsafe. But if it's disproportionate, if you're feeling unsafe, you're worried about, man, you know, I'm going to go into this room and someone's going to cut me down, make fun of me. They're going to pick on me. You literally feel social anxiety, wondering if others will accept you or reject you or whatnot. That's not serving you. That's disproportionate. That's not normal anxiety. And that means there's some subconscious trauma that needs to be cleared. Well, we can clear it. And then these techniques aren't needed as often, although I still think they do have a place because, you know, we're not robots. There are times where you're just going to be angry because someone really did mess with you. And that's not a bad subconscious program. That's a normal response. Someone committed injustice against you. You're going to get angry. That's how it is. Having these management techniques are great. I think you should do both. However, if you're only doing the CBT, and the leading scientists know that CBT is very limited. You know, I've shown on one of my episodes, there was a study comparing hypnosis to CBT, and they mentioned in this peer-reviewed study that cognitive behavioral therapy at most works for 50% of people at most who have mild or moderate depression, at most. So, I mean, they call that the gold standard. It's helping half or less of people with mild to moderate depression. That's one of the main things it's used for, is to, you know, among other things, help people with depression. So it is incomplete by itself. And why should you want to just constantly be managing your trauma the rest of your life when you can get rid of it? You know, there is now a way to get rid of it. So start by reading my ebook. That's going to help you understand what's going on. This lady's referencing things that come from your subconscious a lot. She's referencing different feelings that get triggered and saying, hey, this is within you. Sometimes people have a different point of view and you're having an adverse reaction. It's really not them. It's trauma within you that got triggered. And that's you. That's not them. If it's disproportionate, you know, if it's, you know, and I think that in the back of our mind, if we really calm down and look at a situation or get some feedback, we're going to know, okay, you know, this person really wasn't being a jerk. I just got triggered. That's a sign there's trauma. We can go and we can fix it. Learn these other techniques too. Do it all. So short episode today. That's pretty much all I had. But do want to let you guys know I have a ton of projects going on. I got sick this week, so less shows this week. But it will be more like 3 or 4 shows a week going forward, just because I have a lot of big projects I'm working on in relation to taking this big. You know, I'm partnered with, I'm producing content that's going to be released commercially, really 3 different projects, maybe 4, the way you look at it. So I'll be doing the show less, but still going to do it 3-4 days a week. Thank you for my loyal listeners, watchers. We had, you know, Eagle Cloud on, and P-Dubs, everyone else that comes on, you know, EC Smooth, etc. Thanks, and we'll continue to be content, just not 5 days a week. But I hope this helps you understand what hypnosis does versus what CBT does. And also, if you're not feeling safe, man, if you go into a room and you think you expect people to pick on you or something, hey, there's Mike. Yeah, Mike too. Mike watches this all the time. Hey, if you go into a room and you don't feel safe, you feel people are going to bully you. I remember a time when I was dating, I literally felt women were dangerous. They're going to backstab me, betray me, you know, false rape allegation, whatever. That's tied to my childhood. I cleared that. And going back to feeling unsafe, how you feel safe is you clear out your trauma and then you learn to embrace your power, that you have resources, that you're going to be okay. If a bad situation, number one, if it's a dangerous situation, avoid it. Like a physically dangerous situation, avoid it. Number two, you're going to be able to handle, once you clear your trauma and you listen to your core, your supercomputer, your intuition, our supercomputer, our subconscious processes 1,000 times more data per second than our conscious mind. If you're connected to your core and you learn to trust your intuition and your gut, it's going to keep you safe. It's going to guide you away from dangerous situations, and you get rid of your triggers, and you don't have to avoid people. Someone disapproves of you. If you have a subconscious belief in you that, hey, I have massive value, if others don't see my value, it just means they can't see it. That's their blindness. That's their problem. You got it, that in you. You're not going to go around wondering whether people are going to embarrass you or cut you down if you have that type of trauma. If they're going to criticize you, if you're going to be humiliated, you're going to make a mistake and everyone's going to see it and you're going to feel so embarrassed. For those of us who have that, that's the type of feeling unsafe this lady was talking about. Well, get rid of that and it's gone. And then if people do it, you're okay. And so from an emotional standpoint, you are safe. If you have unusual fears of physical safety, that can be fixed too. So that's the show for today. Thanks for watching, guys. You can optimize your subconscious mind, and then it's not working against you. It's not causing these triggers, messing you up, holding you back. It's working for you. And then once it's optimized and working for you, you then understand you actually do have more power than you know. That's our show. Thank you.